MCM4, this is a construction site stormwater management. I won't spend a lot of time on this because these are the kinds of things, they have a long list of things here to control waste. This, again, if you have an MOU with us, it's not mandatory, but you really should. You can say that, you can go or DEP, excuse me, that manages this program, and say, this is already being handled. This is being done by the Conservation District, at least in Dauphin County, and other counties by perhaps the same entity or a Conservation District or someone else. So that really can pretty much take control of that, or basically satisfy that one. And again, this is addressed through Chapter 103 E&S controls, and also, again, in tandem with the NPDES permitting, which for earth disturbance permitting and for post-construction, again, and for MS4 permitting. As you can see there's of course a silt fence here to control that. You've got various other devices here as well. The photo at the top right, that's one that isn't working. That actually, I believe, was a timber harvest that ended up in Clark's Creek. There was a whole lot of upset people because it was a day before the opening of trout season. And Clark's Creek is a very popular trout. Any trout fishermen here? Oh, here we got one. All right. But we got a lot of them up there. And we got all kind of calls. They eventually, they didn't follow their erosion and sedimentation plan, violated it, and they were not only fined by DEP, but also by the Fish and Boat Commission, and I guarantee they never did it again. Because they will fine you, especially as blatant as these violations were. The fifth one, post-construction stormwater management. Again, part of the 102 chapter does address these. Some of these BMPs are requirements under that. But each municipality must implement procedures for use of structural and non-structural BMPs. If you have an MS4, you don't need to do that. You can, actually, if you'd want to, but you don't need to. Implement ordinance requiring the use of these best management practices. Ensure the long-term operation and maintenance of these BMPs, and determine appropriate BMPs and measurable goals. Again, you're responsible for that. Post-construction stormwater management, and you can see underneath this, and I mentioned about where Act 167 comes into play. And again, I can speak to Dauphin County here. This was approved by DEP in 2010. Matter of fact, in our audience is the engineer that developed that with us. Act 160 requires that municipal adoption of a stormwater management ordinance, again, consistent with that plan. And it's really how this is implemented through the municipalities in Dauphin County. Again, NPDES permitting, earth disturbance permitting, again through Chapter 102, and the MS4 permitting. And you can see down on these photographs here, these are all what's referred to as structural stormwater management BMPs. The one down there would be a check dam and a swale. It's a swale, of course, a natural depression. Constructed provides a natural conduit for flow of stormwater versus putting in a pipe. Frankly, that's a lot cheaper and more effective. Check dam there to provide a little bit of time for it to infiltrate into the substructure. The one over there is, this one here is a turf paver, and you can put that there for like temporary parking. It reinforces the turf. It still allows the water to infiltrate through it and allows the grass to grow up through it. You can't even tell when this is on there. You wouldn't want to park tractor trailers on it. But for excess parking, things like that, it's a lot better than concrete and asphalt. There's another one. This is the one in Maryland, the one down here to the far left. A good photo of a swale that was put in a development to handle stormwater flow, and with various check dams along it. And the one up there is this one here. To your right is a rain garden, or with a more technical term, bioretention area, which allows the water to flow into it. Provides temporary storage, provides infiltration, slow infiltration into the groundwater, recharges it, and provides filtration. One of the best filters you're ever going to get in the world for any of this is nature. The soil regimen filters out all those nutrients. Well, most of them over time will filter out to take care of your pathogens, and many also removes a lot of your nutrients, various things like that. And this one up there, that's a different kind of bioretention area. That's actually in a part of our stormwater best management practice demonstration project. And I always have to take the opportunity to sell a project and provide you, but it is really good. Years, actually about in '06, you can see by the photo, we got a grant to put in a stormwater demonstration, best management practice demonstration project. We have 16 active stormwater management BMPs on our property, and our office is located just north of Dauphin. They're put in there for, of course, educational purposes. Anyone is welcome to come and see them. It's a self-guided tour, or if you call ahead of time, I would be your tour guide. And you're certainly welcome here or anyone else to come up and look at them. Now certainly don't cover all of them. We couldn't have that many, but these are all fully functional. And pollution prevention, good housekeeping, as I mentioned, develop an operation and maintenance program for your municipal operators. Most of your maintenance personnel, engineers, that sort of thing. Conduct employee training and determine appropriate BMPs and those measurable goals. And it's things, it can be very simple things I talked about before. One of them is a very good idea as well, and there's a high efficiency rate on this, is street sweeping with a vacuum. You just want to push it around, you're not really doing too much. But that really does pick up a lot of sediment, soil grains, grit, particle, and of course some of the adhered pollutants to it. It's one of the things you can do actually to meet something else I'm going to be talking about later. MS4 reporting. This is very important, and the next speaker will address this in more detail. I cannot emphasize this enough. Under this permit that they DEP requires and may be reviewed by EPA, and reports documenting all these MS4 compliance activities. And I mentioned they may be reviewed by EPA, and nowadays there's probably a good chance they will be. Document everything. It's critical. At the Conservation District, we have a dedicated file cabinet. We've got a file cabinet. It was actually used from the county, but it's totally dedicated just to this. And those are the backup files. Everything we have is digital. On digital, we have extensive digital files as well. Everything is documented. Ensure that documentation reflects compliance with these MCMs and BMPs, and include all this in the annual report. We at the Conservation are changing our procedure to provide better summaries of the activities. We do provide a summary of our activities in Chapter 102 permits, inspections, addressing complaints, educational activities, and we provide those to every municipality on an annual basis in Dauphin County, and they can use that in their reporting. MS4 permitting. Probably a few of you here. How many here are going through this right now? The renewal permit. I should see hands, yeah, a number of you. So you know what it's kind of about. As you know, the current permit extension was extended to March 15th of 2013. And March 16th, 2013 is the first day which will be available for coverage under the renewed permit. Or if you're one that didn't need one before, now you do, a new permit. September 14th, this September 14th is the last day to submit what they call the notice of intent for the permit renewal, or if you needed a new permit. With that, of course, you need to submit the stormwater management program to implement these 6 MCMs. And they refer to them, and I'm not going to dwell on this, to the maximum extent practicable. If anyone here can explain to me precisely what that means, you're doing something. When they refer to maximum extent practicable, I really think that's going to get down to between the municipality and who's reviewing your BMPs or your program. Apparently, you make the case for we're doing everything that we can do that's reasonable for us to do. But again, that's going to really come down to the reviewer, whoever that individual might be. If your regulated MS4 discharges to receiving waters with an approved TMDL, total maximum daily load, you must submit, as you know, with the application, a TMDL plan or strategy with the application that meets the requirements of the applicable waste load allocations. A lot of technical terms, but basically I'll talk a little bit more about what a TMDL is. I won't get into it too much now. That is the due date for what they call the MS4 TMDL design details for those best management practices to meet that, whatever that waste load allocation has been designated for that waterway. And some of them can be really, really tough to meet. I mentioned a due date for that. MS4 is a discharge of streams that are listed as impaired, but without a TMDL. There's no TMDL established for that particular waterway. Must prevent new discharges from causing or contributing to impairments. Also, I think everybody here has, within their jurisdiction, their watersheds, all drained to the eventually drained to Chesapeake Bay. Yeah, so you're all subject to this, certainly. Must submit, is referred to as a Chesapeake Bay Pollution Reduction Plan within 12 months of approval of coverage under that start date. So whenever the start date of your new permit is, or renewed permit is, you've got a year to develop that new Chesapeake Bay Pollutant Reduction Plan. And again, not due right away, not due on the 14th, but it's coming. And also, I did skip one, and I apologize. The due date for what they refer to as MS4 TMDL design details. It's not your strategies or your plan, but the design details. That's where I get all the technical stuff. That's where you get, okay, this is what I propose to do, but give me the numbers now. How are you going to design, what are you going to design, all the design specifications, and give me the numbers, what you're going to achieve. And that is due 1 year, again, from the approval of the coverage from a renewed plan. Last, certainly absolutely not least, MS4, TMDL plans, the strategies, the design details. Also, the BMPs under your Chesapeake Bay Pollutant Reduction Plan must have the signature and seal of a professional engineer, a PE registered in Pennsylvania. General recommendation for meeting MS4 requirements. Do not ignore them. And this says fines may result. Cross it out and say most likely will result. Develop a good plan, obvious. Be specific, who does what when. The more specifics, the better. Identify your documentation needs, what you got to do. Meet your requirements with a minimal impact to resources. Again, piggyback on existing programs, tasks, meetings, whatever you can. Use volunteers wherever you can. Not a bad idea. Use existing resources as much as you possibly can. And again, to repeat, document all of your activities. Who did what when, how many. Maintain a file with all relevant correspondence from us related to this Chapter 102, because that impacts upon MCM 4 and 5. And because we only provide just a year-end summary. And 4, really important. How many of you thought about this? You had to. This comes at a cost. All of this. And you need to budget for it.